John Henry Balch was born in Edgerton, Kansas. He joined the Navy in May 1917, soon after the United States entered the First World War. He was a pharmacist's mate attached to the U.S. Marines. In the Marines, a pharmacist's mate essentially had the same job as a corpsman today. They were the first aid in the time of a battle. They might set up an aid station about 100 yards back from the line. They might even be right at the front line, pulling the wounded back. Often, pharmacists' mates would go over the top, coming out of the trench in an attack, following the men in, providing the very first service, the very first aid that they might get, and then trying to get the wounded back to a first aid station, and then eventually back to the base hospital. The Battle of Belleau Woods, in many ways, was the central battle for the Marine contingent. And it was a horrifying battle. There wasn't a wide open field, no man's land as we normally think of it. Instead, the battle was within the trees.
Your visibility is poor. The kinds of ways that you have to maneuver, sort of piecemeal, using the trees as cover, sometimes mixing up where artillery fire is coming from, having difficulty in even directing artillery fire to the proper areas. It's a very difficult kind of way to fight.
And because it was within the forest, within the trees, two things happened. The first is that artillery would actually explode in the trees, so you'd have shrapnel just coming down on you along with tree branches and things like that. Much of the battle took place at night. Because there wasn't an open area, there were clearly defined lines, and you could encounter friend or foe at any moment. And in doing so, you had to quickly figure out, who is this person? Is this an enemy or not? Firing at close range, hand-to-hand combat. It was bloody, it was brutal, and the Marines really had to take it on.
They fight for a month, they're victorious. This is a big moment as part of the battle to protect Chateau Thierry and the German drive to Paris in the spring of 1918. I think at a moment when people were wondering, can this American force really fight? The Marines, through the Battle of Belleau Wood, answer that question, and the answer was yes.
Balch was also commended for his actions at the Battle of Blamont. Blamont was part of the 100 Days Offensive, which was the final campaign of the war. The British, French, and American forces were pushing forward against the Germans all along the Western Front. The French were hung up near Blamont. This was a high ridge that commanded views over the entire front and anchored the German line. General Pershing, the commander of the American Expeditionary Force, assigned Balch's unit, the 6th Marines, to help them. The Marines went over the top on October 3rd. They immediately faced horrendous machine gun fire from commanding positions, and the artillery hit them as soon as they started up the slope. Throughout this battle, the Germans had effective artillery support and the high ground, as well as air superiority. As a result, they could call down bombardments on the Americans at any time. It was an incredibly tough battle and resulted in very high casualties. The Marines were chosen partly because they were fresh, the other Allied units were exhausted, but also because they had a reputation for ferocity and bravery.
They knew that they were volunteering for combatant duty. They had this motto, first to fight. They were an elite group that could handle the most difficult tasks, that they would be the vanguard of the army. That was sort of inculcated in them.
Blamont was one of the battles that helped to complete the defeat of the German army. By October 8th, they were in full retreat. On November 11th, an armistice was signed that ended the war. During the Second World War, Balch served again, this time in the Pacific. He was in the Philippines and Australia, and he also served stateside. Balch received the Medal of Honor for the Battle of Soissons, and then the Distinguished Service Cross as well for Belleau Woods. In both of those battles, he was at the front line. In one of them, he was there, set up an aid station, helping soldiers for 16 hours. He was highly decorated. He also got 3 Silver Stars, and he actually got medals from 3 Allied powers, the Croix de Guerre, or the Cross of War, both from France and Italy, and also a similar medal from Portugal. The official citation for the Croix de Guerre medal reads, "At Blamont, October 5th, 1918, John Henry Balch displayed the greatest courage in going to establish an advanced first aid station under violent artillery fire. This permitted the saving of many lives among the wounded.